What's going on, Jerome's? So, still have faith in Jonathan James McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell, a.k.a. the quarterback whisperer. And, Kevin O'Connell does have this reputation of doing well with quarterbacks, whether it's Stafford, that won a Super Bowl with the Rams, whether it's Kirk Cousins getting the best out of him, slinging Sam Darnold, Nick frickin' Mullins, the Passionate, Jaron Hall, the Mormon Missile was also a quarterback, right? So, working with JJ long term, you're thinking, okay, every little thing is going to be all right. He's going to get some great coaching. He's got all the physical tools in the world, and everything will be good to go. But then, the Vikings hit a bit of a skid, where the last 3 weeks, JJ McCarthy has just been straight up bad, right? And also, early on, you're okay. McCarthy does that against the Bears fourth quarter, where he could just play. And the same thing come back from injuries against the Lions. You just let him play. Like, not overthinking things, not doing everything like that. But it does seem like the last 3 weeks, McCarthy's been the typical first-time starting quarterback, deer in headlights, overthinking things, slow to make decisions. And it's the complete opposite of what he's done as of late in big-time spots, right, as you've seen. And, people may want to write those moments off, but we all saw them. They all certainly are legit. And even back in Michigan, maybe there wasn't such a premium put on mechanics because they just let him play. All right, we're going to run the ball. JJ, you go out there and make a play on third down in the red zone, and we'll be good to go. But, of course, we know that Kevin O'Connell is indeed the quarterback whisperer, and sometimes he can't just leave well enough alone. And that's good, but also in this situation, it may be a detriment, as McCarthy is clearly inside his own head. It's a field day for all the haters and the losers. Plus, McCarthy on the drive home from the facility last month or so, he's just been like this. Like, you ever done that, right? So you're working a job, and then you're at home in traffic, and then sometimes you just take like 10 minutes just sitting in your car. When you get home, you're sitting in the garage, and you're just like decompressing. That's JJ. He probably still wears the face paint in his car as well. Probably know that. And it goes back to the whole saying that Kevin O'Connell put out there. I believe organizations fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail organizations. But obviously O'Connell was talking about lack of weapons, lack of infrastructure, lack of protection, lack of good coaching. But also, can there be too much coaching? Right? And I know that sounds oxymoronic, but at a certain point, all of the things that J.J. McCarthy has to work on, and we've harped on this a bunch, mechanics, eyes, everything that O'Connell talks about, that's not going to get fixed in a season, right? If you have to fix that, it has to be off season, where you can get all of those reps in and then become second nature muscle memory. Why did J.J. McCarthy have success against the Lions? Why do you have success in the fourth quarter against the Bears first time around? Why do you have success at Michigan? Because he wasn't thinking, he was just doing. Right? And it's very clear that the last couple of games for the Vikings, McCarthy is just overthinking everything. When you overthink, think long, you think wrong, and that's why I think the processing time has been slower and decisions have been worse. Because, hey, go out here is like, hey, I need to have good mechanics and don't make mistakes. Guess what? You're going to have bad mechanics and you're going to make mistakes. That's what's up. Long story longer, Dan Orlovsky, seen here with Jared Allen, HOF Jared Allen. What's up? So he's been a luminary on ESPN. Really love and respect his analysis. Also, he looks like Dennis from Always Sunny whenever he's in the car. Stupid B. But he was on the McAfee show as usual. Talk about J.J. McCarthy, and he said something about 9, which, by the way, maybe the alter ego was a bad mistake. But Orlovsky was talking about McCarthy, and he hit the nail on the head a lot here. Same with Kurt Warner, which we'll talk about in a sec. But this is what Orlovsky said about McCarthy. This young man just hasn't played football. He's barely practiced football in the last 2 years. I think the biggest concern right now is you are watching paralysis by analysis. Yes, absolutely. There's clips where he catches the ball in the shotgun, and you could see him walking through the drops of trying to think of, what should I do with the football right now? Meaning it's almost like he's trying to think of what is the coaching point or the drop or the landmark or how many steps. I'm counting steps in my head. I'm counting what I should be doing with my left leg and my right leg, or trying to think of what I should be doing with my left leg and my right leg, rather than, okay, this is the defense, this is where I want to try to work, and this is how I can manipulate somebody or how I feel coverage. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. The last 3 weeks, you see McCarthy out there, and you see Josh McCown, you see Wes Phillips, you see Kevin O'Connell. Talking about the finer points, like this is where your anchor point needs to be. This is where your leverage is. This is where this is where your toes need to be pointing. He's thinking about all those things as opposed to, how do I make a play? What's the coverage? Who's coming open? All that stuff. All that thinking comes later, after little finger down the seam of the trousers. I love when people get that reference. And hey, these things are all important. But do you think Stafford's thinking about those things? Do you think Mahomes thinks about those things? Right? Or they just do. Now, obviously, they're veterans. They're above the rim. But this is not good for McCarthy in season. Is it something that he has to work on in the offseason? Yes. But O'Connell has to know that this is just a terrible burden to put on him in season, where he's drinking from a fire hose as it is, trying to figure out how things are going on the fly. And this is a disservice. It truly is, where I honestly, obviously, J.J. McCarthy is to blame for a lot of this, but, the last 3 games, their performances, a lot of that has to be on overcoaching, because you have to know your man, right? And the Baltimore game, atrocious. The Bears game was bad, except for that last drive. Oh, yeah, how did he succeed on that last drive against the Bears second time around? Because he just played. That's what it was. And the Packers game was just the nut low ground zero. Just terrible to replay. Continue. There's a clip where you can see him go left leg, left leg, and it's almost like he's walking through in a walkthrough type of mannerism, whereas definitely an overthinking right now. I understand he is in a stuck place, and it's not a fun place to be as a quarterback. I don't think they give up on him, but because of the lack of performance and the lack of health and availability, there's no question you'll have to bring in some high-end competition in, which, absolutely fair. Also, this could just be the bro show, just taking over right there. Right, but I honestly do believe that, hey, J.J. McCarthy is the future franchise quarterback of the Vikings. He's the future franchise quarterback of somebody, right? So we'll just put that out there. And it's very easy to say, well, the players should just be able to play and all that stuff. But what's the coach's job then? If the player just shows up and plays, why even have coaches? Yeah. So I feel like Kevin O'Connell is doing a bit of a disservice to, not even a bit, he's doing a straight up disservice to J.J. McCarthy. And if and when J.J. McCarthy gets back on the field, if Brosmer doesn't steal his job, just let him play. All of these teaching points, just to prove how smart you are, just to prove how much of a quarterback guru you are, is not doing 9. Again, maybe the alter ego was a dumb idea. You're not doing him any favors. At a certain point, just see if the kid is a gamer. Just see the kid move the football, as opposed to all these things. 1, 2, 3. Watch your feet. Watch your eyes. Just let him play. Just let him play. That should be the mandate from here on out. Just let him play. Put some good teachable tape on wax. Or are you more concerned of, well, your feet were really good, except you threw 2 more picks? Your feet were really good, but the throw was late because you're overthinking. Your feet were really good, but this, that, and other thing. No. Let the player play. And you can work on everything else in the very long offseason, right? So this is, we talked about O'Connell babying McCarthy early on. This is just massively overbearing overcoaching, right? Kid's inside his own head. Bad spot to be in, because guess what? You've seen players not be able to break that. Like, the player gets broken. They lose confidence. They never get it back. Now, I do feel like J.J. McCarthy is mentally strong enough to be able to do that. But right now, just, Kevin O'Connell says stacking good days. Past 3 weeks, they've been stacking bad days. A lot of really bad days. And O'Connell can talk about he looked good in practice all that he wants, but I mean, you don't get traumatized from practice. You get traumatized from playing terribly in games and losing faith of the fan base. That's exactly what's happening right now. So Kevin O'Connell may be wanting to set J.J. McCarthy up for success, except he's doing the opposite right now. So don't make me tap the sign. That's it. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Dan Orlovsky, paralysis by analysis with J.J. McCarthy. He's overthinking everything. Yes, he is. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best to do. Skol, production value.